Is amazing. All right. Let me let everyone in and we'll begin.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope you are all doing well and have had a fantastic week so far. Let me know if you can hear me, and then we'll get started. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat. Okay, cool. Thanks for that, William. Cool. So today we've got quite an exciting topic, right? A lot of you may have already heard of this, maybe some of you haven't yet. But earlier this year, there was this new AI model that dropped called DeepSeek. And honestly, it came out of nowhere. It really came out of the blue, and it's completely shaken up the industry, right? I mean, the internet has been a buzz with talk about it, and even the stock markets have took a massive knock. Companies like OpenAI and Nvidia have lost billions of dollars in the stock markets um, overnight almost. And it's all because this tiny little company out of China released this new AI model. Um, a lot of you may have already heard about it, but today I just wanted to talk about that a little bit more. Talk about exactly what it is and what kind of implications it had, why it had the impact that it had, and what impact it's going to have in the future. Right. So today I have Bilal here with us, who's already done a ton of research on this topic. And yeah, he's going to be filling us in on some of the details about DeepSeek and what it means for the future tech industry.
How's it, guys? It's good to be here. Unfortunately, I'm driving, so I can't switch off my camera, but I'm sure you guys can hear me well enough. Now, what I like about DeepSeek and what we're going to address today is what does this mean for you as IT students and future tech professionals and future tech entrepreneurs? I'm going to bring it home because this is significant. It's not a small thing. It's a huge, huge leap forward, and it's going to be life-changing for all of us in many different ways. And that's not an exaggeration, as you will see.
Mm. Yeah, it's remarkable for me because of what it means, right? Before we get into the details, but this to me is very reminiscent of the early days of the smartphone. You know, it started off where there was just one giant, which was Apple, and they created the iPhone, and that's now similar to OpenAI and ChatGPT. And then suddenly you have these smaller companies that join in and start producing smartphones, right? So like, okay, the next first people to the next company to join the competition back then was Samsung. Not exactly a small company, but it was a they were completely new to this industry, and they came up with their smartphones. And suddenly the competition just boomed, and the smartphone market exploded. And today, smartphones are inseparable from everyday life for us. And so this is a very similar thing. You know, you had OpenAI and they monopoly on this industry, and they revolutionizing on their own, and now suddenly you have competition coming up, and who knows where this is going to go from here, because the more competition comes about, the more these smaller guys get involved, the more it innovates and drives innovation all around, and it just further cements this new technology into our everyday lives, into our everyday business, into society. So yeah, it's an exciting time.
Yeah, and it's true what you say that monopoly is broken. America's monopoly over the AI space is forever broken thanks to DeepSeek. Now, what exactly is DeepSeek? That's what people are asking. And I'm getting questions left, right, and center. In fact, this week alone, I've got 3 radio interviews and 1 TV interview just about this topic. What
Mhm.
exactly is DeepSeek, right? So let's take it from the top, right? DeepSeek is a large language model. It's a chatbot that is super intelligent. It gives you human-like, accurate, detailed responses. It's every bit as powerful as ChatGPT, but with some differences. Number one, it's better, faster, more versatile, and according to most benchmark tests, it's just faster and more efficient than ChatGPT, and it uses a fraction of the power that ChatGPT uses. Now, let me tell you how bad it is with ChatGPT. Right? They are planning, or were planning, to build an entire power station. Microsoft is planning to build a power station just to power its AI servers. That's how much of power they use. They're draining the Earth's resources. Now, and then in terms of the cost, you mentioned the cost. Okay, let's look at some of the costs associated with these two technologies, ChatGPT and DeepSeek. Okay, so you've got this technology that does almost the same thing, right? How much did it cost? Right, let's start with ChatGPT. Estimates are that ChatGPT cost $1 billion to develop. And then on top of that, Microsoft invested a further $10 billion. And then on top of that, Trump's administration pledged a further $500 billion to OpenAI to secure, for further AI research and development, and to secure the USA's global dominance over AI. How much did DeepSeek cost? $6 million. Listen, $6 million versus $1 billion to $10 billion to $500 billion, whatever that costs. And there's a funny story. There's actually a very funny story behind it, right? Well, funny for us, but not funny for the American government and the tech companies. So this is what happened. Last year, the US government banned Nvidia from selling their H100 chips to China. Now, the H100 are state-of-the-art AI, specialist AI chipsets, right? And they are what's being used by OpenAI. Because, I mean, Nvidia is one of the owners of OpenAI. So, so America banned these chips. So China says, well, okay, if you're not going to sell us that, let's at least sell us your second or third grade chips. So Nvidia said, okay, we'll sell you our third grade H800 chips. So although the number is higher, but the chipset is much lower standard than the H100, which was also subsequently banned. But before the ban came about, China bought a whole bunch of those, and then they used that third grade chip. They've used the third grade chip to build DeepSeek. So they said to the Americans indirectly that whatever you do, we can do better for cheaper with lesser resources than you. And you can try and ban us, you can try and impose sanctions on us, but we are still going to credible. I mean, what the Chinese have achieved with DeepSeek. It also raises a lot of questions, right? And that's why the $1 trillion knock in American stock market share prices. I mean, if you look at Nvidia alone, they sustained the largest single loss in the history of the stock markets. The largest, 600 billion, not million. I'm talking with a B here. $600 billion they lost in share prices, but it wasn't only them. Microsoft, Google, Meta, OpenAI, they all took a severe knock. Why? Because the investors actually became very surprised and upset and confused that here we've been investing billions of dollars into these tech companies, and these guys did it for 6 million. What have you been doing with our money? What have you been doing with our money? That's the question now.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's like a bottomless pit. And you know, the other major thing about this, and Tawfiq mentioned it in the chat here, is that unlike with OpenAI, DeepSeek is free and it's open source. So anyone can now use the DeepSeek's APIs to build um, their own AI tools, whether it's a chatbot or text to image generators, whatever it is. And you can do it for free, which completely torpedoes OpenAI's business model, because why would you pay to use OpenAI's APIs when you can use DeepSeek's for free? And it's far more customizable because it's open source, you know?
Yeah, and
So,
let's look at that open source model of it, because that is the game changer. I
mm,
mean, these Chinese said to the world, "Here's a gift from us to you. Happy New Year." That's what
yeah.
they said. So they gave a gift. Now let's understand open source versus closed source, right? So open AI, the name is ironic because the AI is not open. They own that GPT technology on which chat is operating, right? The code base is closed source. Nobody knows what is in that source code. Nobody can see that source code except OpenAI themselves. Then the training data is also closed off. Nobody can see what data was used to train ChatGPT, which is also ironic because they used publicly available data to train their
Mhm.
AI, and then they closed off that data. The third thing about it
And
is,
and they used in some cases copyrighted data to train their AI, which they're now getting in trouble for.
oh yeah, that's a whole different can of worms. But
Mm,
if you look at the most important part is that even though you can use ChatGPT in your business, you are not exactly using it in your business. You're still using it on their servers.
mm,
So
mm,
if you're using a ChatGPT API, it still sits on their servers. The difference with DeepSeek is that you can download the code base and train it with your own source data. Meaning, if you've got a fairly powerful server at home, you don't need to be online. You don't need to log into DeepSeek's servers. You can make your own AI server, and you can
mm,
train it with whatever training data you want. So, for example, let's take IT Varsity as an institute. We can train it with all our data, video data, notes, all our training information that we provide to our students. We can train it on that, and it will have only our data, which will be
mhm,
exclusive to our students. We're not logging into uh, OpenAI servers. That's the difference with open source. So what does that mean for the world, and what does it mean for us? It means this. Open source is basically DeepSeek's invitation to the whole world to take this code base, let's work together to improve it, to make it
mm.
better, constantly better. So now
And
you're going to have the whole
yeah,
world contributing.
yeah, without the red tape of having to pay for those APIs and only getting access to small pieces of it, would it be completely open source? Anyone can take it and then innovate it. So you're going to see AI not just as in chatbots or image generators or video generators online, but AI tools. What I predict is like AI tools in everyday life, it's like the next step in the IoT world. With it being as accessible as it in the smallest of companies anywhere in the world can build AI tools that integrate in society, in shops, in various industries, or in your everyday life, right? I mean, earlier today we were just joking about how easy it is now to have a personal AI assistant in your house, like Jarvis from the Iron Man movies or from the Avengers movies. It's so the technology is readily available now. You can get the AI even if you have something like a Raspberry Pi, you can use that as the brain for your AI. You can hook it up to every single electronic in your house. And unlike with before, it's not a security risk because that system doesn't need to connect to the internet at all. It can be a completely offline system that only you have access to. And it's so doable now. It's so possible. The average person can, with a little bit of know-how, can set up something like this.
Absolutely. I mean, you can, as you said, you can set it up with a Raspberry Pi. Of course, to make it fast, you'll need a GPU connected to that
Mm,
Raspberry Pi, but it's possible. But I mean, okay, now let's bring it home. We've got software engineers in the making here
mhm.
on this call. We've got future tech entrepreneurs. What does it mean for you? It means that now you can start experimenting with AI and start looking at building solutions and building businesses around that. Those solutions now don't belong to OpenAI anymore. They're not within the domain of AI. So even small businesses can now start developing solutions. And Africa has problems, right? So many problems to solve. Start solving those problems and build businesses around that. Start
Mm.
thinking entrepreneurially now.
Yeah, I mean, Tawfiq hit it on the head again. AI agents will probably be 2025's AI hype train, which I think is, a pretty accurate prediction. And for good reason. You got this new technology and this entire world of opportunities now suddenly available. People are going to rush to carve out their niches and take advantage of it. And that's exactly what you guys should be doing. You have the tech know-how, experiment with this new opportunity, this new tools that come up, and incorporate it into your offerings. Whatever services you are offering to your clients or your future employers, add an added benefit on that, which is now AI. And who knows, the just slapping on that AI, being early enough to the game, establishes you as an authority on the matter. And that can be your ticket to a very successful career.
Absolutely. I see Tawfiq says also that SaaS ideas coming to mind. I like it. Now you can
Mm,
build AI, your own AI trained with your own data into your mobile apps, your SaaS applications, your, I don't know, it's just mind-boggling what
mm,
is available. I mean, I can't wait to jump onto this and build an internal AI for IT Varsity that will serve our students, chatbots and things that will
mm.
help to solve some of your problems. So yeah,
Yeah,
very
I mean,
exciting times.
previously we did a little bit of AI development at Varsity to manage or to monitor, student progress and help us identify when students are, slowing down or when they're at risk of falling behind on their ideal pace. And it was difficult because the tools wasn't there. But now imagine with DeepSeek's APIs, how easy it'll be. It's as simple as telling it what you're trying to achieve, feeding it the data, let it study for a couple hours, and you're in business.
You're in business. But you know what's funny? What's really funny is all these tech oligarchs in the USA, like Sam Altman and Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and all these guys have to stand now and answer, where did our money go? The investors want answers. And there's
Mm,
no more AI hype. I mean, I admire Nvidia as a company for what they did, but recently Jensen the CEO has been irritating me because he's become something of an AI spin doctor. Every time he comes on stage and says something stupid about AI, and Nvidia's share prices go up. I mean, like, dude, you don't need to do all that. You don't have to stoop to those levels. You got a good, solid company here. Why
mm,
are you
mm,
selling your soul? But anyways, he's taken a serious knock, and all of them are going to need to answer. In fact, I was reading a leaked memo that came out from Meta staff, and they're saying that Meta engineers are now dissecting uh, the Chinese AI to try and figure out what exactly is it about it that it's so powerful, that it's so good, right? So and they're saying that questions are being asked because you've got uh, executives at Google and AI and OpenAI who are earning more in salaries and bonuses than it took train DeepSeek, right? So questions are being asked, and that's why the share prices dropped, because questions are being asked now. These guys are going to be standing in the dock and answering for their sins. And I think most of the money was going into somebody's pocket. It wasn't going into R&D, it wasn't going into paying their staff, it was going into these guys' pockets. Okay, I've got a couple of minutes for Q&A, and then I have to jump into another radio interview.
Regarding DeepSeek, I'm assuming.
No, strangely, this one is different.
Oh, okay, cool. But yeah, that's really, really exciting times ahead in the world of AI. It stopped being this exclusive club, and it's now entered the realm of open source, where again anyone can now access the code for it, and anyone can use it any way they seek, which, you know,
Yeah.
in the tech world, that's always been a driving force of innovation, because what companies can do versus what individuals can do when they work together is two completely different things altogether.
True that. I see Taufik raised a very good point here that they are comparing this to the Sputnik moment. But look, it's not, because Sputnik was the first comer. They the ones that launched, the Russians launched satellite into space the first time, and the Americans were like, what just happened here? How did we get beaten in launching a satellite? But this is a different scenario. Here, the Americans were the first comers. They developed ChatGPT, etc., etc. They owned the market, but the Chinese came and torpedoed them by doing it simpler, better, faster. That's what happened here. So it's different from Sputnik. But again, I like the term that you used, AI Cold War or trade wars or tariff wars. You see, for the US and for the West in general, it's always about war. It's always about domination. It's always about monopoly. Yet the global South is saying, look, let's forget war, let's forget sanctions, let's forget domination, let's do business. Business is where it's at. Business is what we want to do. But the Americans are like, no, we want to own, we want to dominate. So China showed them now that, sorry, this is not your century. You're not going to dominate. To answer William's question, I will be at between 2:30 and 1:45, I will be on Radio Ansar. Speaking about back to school.
Yeah, but yeah, I like that idea of the Cold War and the comparison, and what you said about trade. You know, it reminds me of I was reading a bit of history about the Middle East, and you know, I was reading about the story of Salahuddin versus the Crusaders, and how for, you know, hundreds of years, the Crusaders and the Muslim empires in the Middle East were at war, you know, fighting each other constantly, taking territory, losing territory, taking territory, losing territory. And then there was a sultan called Al-Adil who inherited an empire that was at war with the Crusaders, but then switched the entire thing on its head and says, why are we fighting when instead we can trade?
We can do
And
business. Let's do business.
and then he did trade, he established trade routes with the Crusaders and with that through the entire Europe. And over the next 100 or so years, both of those regions became phenomenally wealthy. And yeah, everyone benefited. So it's, you know, it's the same thing. Instead of these trade wars and sanctions and tariffs, if we all trade together, work together, everyone can benefit. Everyone can become wealthy. And that's what I like
That's the
about
thing.
DeepSeek. Instead of them trying to hold cards to their chests and you know, keep it like an exclusive club, they did the complete opposite and made it open source so that everyone can own a piece of it.
And that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. And there was something else. You know, it's like the old saying, what was it? It was a song, make love, not war. I think now the new mantra for the 2025 upwards is, let's do business, not war. Peaceful business. Okay. I see Keenan put up a comment. Would you read it, Tala?
Yeah. So he says, on a related note, NVIDIA's claim that its new 50 series GPUs can generate more frames with its new AI frame gen technology, but people who have tested these GPUs are saying that they are lying and those frames are being generated by, but those frames that are being generated by frame gen are fake frames.
Yeah, they're using a lot of wizardry to doctor the numbers. I mean, they're gonna get caught out. This is what I don't understand. I mean, a couple of years ago, VW was caught out lying about their emissions in their cars. Why on earth do you need to do that? I mean, you can build solid businesses without lying to people. But if you just keep trying to artificially bloat your share prices, like, I mean, Nvidia had recently beat Apple as the most valuable company. I don't know how many $1 trillion. It means nothing. The actual inherent intrinsic value of those companies is not even close to that. But every time they come out and they spin doctor something, or they start a hype, then investors they want to pay more for those share prices. They basically trying to create money out of nothing, which is just wrong on so many different levels. That's why you find no other countries doing business in the way that the USA does. It's just a wrong way of doing business. Anyways, I gotta jump. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys next time. When will IT Varsity start an AI course? Tala, I'll leave that to you to answer. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Cool. So AI courses, we actually have some very basic ones in development at the moment using Python, an extension of the Python courses that some of you are doing. Those will be available soon, but there's a whole new line of courses that need to enter production given this new revelation of DeepSeek, because it's changed the game entirely. So yeah, now we're gonna have to go into the planning phase and come up with some type of training or content for you guys based on that, and show you guys how you can take advantage of DeepSeek, how you can use it to train your own models and use it to power all sorts of different tools. But guys, yeah, I think we will leave it there for today. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you learned something, and I hope it inspired you to open the hood and peek under DeepSeek. It's exactly, Mohammed. It is extremely exciting. Very rarely these days we get some news that is as exciting and as big as this is. And it's even more surprising the way this just came out of the blue entirely. Nobody saw it coming, and a week ago nobody was even talking about it. But here it is. And it's opened up a whole world of opportunities, and the world is ready for you guys. And you, being students, you are in the perfect place to now take advantage of it. So I encourage you all in your free time to learn as much about it as possible. Try to set up a little model of your own, see how far you can go, collaborate with fellow students, and share what you learn. It's a very new technology. It's highly experimental. So get together, experiment together, learn together, and grow together. Keenan, I wanted to know if you wait, where did my messages go? Sorry about that. I wanted to know if you got a chance to read my email I sent based on last week's webinar. Yes, I did. That was about the future career prospects. I've got your email. A good reminder, actually. So anyone who hasn't submitted that email, send it through to me. We're still reviewing the data that we've got from you guys and putting that into our new project plans. So basically the assignment was send me an email with just a short write-up on what your short-term and what your long-term career goals are as budding entrepreneurs or software engineers. And that's just going to help us to adjust our focus areas when it comes to looking for internship opportunities and job placements for you guys. It's just going to help us narrow it down a little bit. Sophie says, I forgot to send mine. No stress at all. Send it through whenever you can. William and Zaid says, I never see last week webinar. So I don't know what happened, but last week's, for some reason, wasn't recorded. Zoom was set to automatically record all of these sessions, but I don't know what happened. And last week's session wasn't recorded. But yeah, it was basically just about that. We just spoke a little bit about future job placements, job readiness, and it was more actually for IT Varsity's benefit and for my benefit to get a better understanding from you guys of what you want to do once you graduate, both short term and long term. So immediately once you graduate IT Varsity, what kind of internship or job opportunity you want to get, whether it's you want to work at a company for a little while, like a little internship, even if it's unpaid, or you prefer to go freelancing and start getting clients, developing websites, or work as a freelancer for companies that need development done. So that's your short term, and then your long term, which is now 4 or 5 years into the future after you've had opportunity to grow and mature in your space. Where do you see yourself as an ideal? So just fill us in on that, and it's just going to help us to better understand you. And well, number one, it's going to help us to narrow our search down when it comes to looking for opportunities for you guys, but it'll also help us to then modify our content and our curriculum to more accurately reflect that and better prepare you guys. William, it's completely optional. Uh, we would really appreciate it. It goes a long way in helping us. I mean, student feedback is probably the most important piece of data that we can have. So yeah, we'd really appreciate it, but it's optional. If you would like to send through that email, here is my email address. Just send it through to this. Doesn't have to be long, just even 50 to 100 words or so. Nothing too extensive, or as much detail as you want, completely up to you. Okay, and with that, I think we leave it. If there's no other questions, then we will conclude this session here. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you benefited. And I am really looking forward to hearing from you guys when it comes to your learnings in the AI field. Maybe next week or the following week, to give you all enough time, we'll just have a quick session where we talk about what you guys have learned and managed to achieve. But until then, have a fantastic rest of the day and a fantastic rest of the week. And I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.